Good morning, race fans, and welcome once again to San Diego's Mission Bay. I am Brad Luce. That is Tanner Faust. It is day 3 of 3. That means it's the final day, Mr. Faust.
I'm ready for it. It's been an amazing weekend. It's an amazing location. My first time at this event. And it's unfortunate we're on the other side of the bay from the fans and from the pits, but what a vantage point out here. I mean, we're right out by the island, right at the start-finish line, ocean in the background, beautiful marine layer keeping us cool for now. Obviously, it's going to burn off here in a couple hours, but looking forward to an amazing day of racing.
And you talk about the fans over on the other side. We got a few over here from that end of the row of RVs to that end is exactly a mile and a half, and this is the first time they have sold out every one of the spots for the RVs. So organizers here of the 2025 San Diego Bayfair presented by Samson Rope, they're pretty happy.
Yeah, they got to be. I mean, it's a great showing. It's going to be an awesome day. Everybody I run into, I just hear stories of how this event has progressed, since the 60s to now. Seems like it went through pretty rowdy times in the 80s and 90s. I guess everything did, but it's awesome that, that this bay actually was built and dredged specifically for this event back in the 60s, and it's just so cool that it's still going.
And we're going to talk a little bit about that later on in the day, because I actually met some family members this morning of some of the people that were very instrumental in making that happen back in 1964, the Muncey family and the Fagel family, but we will get to that. It's also the final day of the 2025 H1 Unlimited Hydroplane racing season, and it's kind of been like a heavyweight fight, I guess. We started out with all these boats and teams, and we had teams added during the season, but at the end of the day here, and today being that day, right now we've got 4 boats still standing. Came in with 5, we're down 1.
Yeah, if the teams were hoping to get some testing done this morning, that's out of the window, because we're going to rerun a heat from yesterday with 4 boats running at the 9 o'clock session. So it's straight to racing, which in a race weekend, I'm more familiar with car racing. It's always nice to have a little test, a little warm-up first thing in the morning to do a shakedown or an installation lap, they call it. But not going to happen today for the guys. The pressure's on.
It is on, and looking at the clock, we are 3 seconds to 1. Mark. 5 minutes. Our H1 Unlimited hydroplanes can come out on the water, and as we saw yesterday, every time Dave Villwalk in the U-27 Miss Apollo, he seems to want to be the first boat away from the dock. He is again. So Dave Villwalk is away. You see the U-11. That is the Miss Flavor Pack with Jamie Nielsen. He too is away from the dock, and we will expect also the red and yellow U-8, the Beacon Electric, and J. Michael Kelly. This could be a very interesting heat. Kelly ran really, really well yesterday. He knocked off Andrew Tate, got the jump on him at the start, and was able to hold off a very fast U-91 Goodman Real Estate. There's still boats here, and this thing is still way up in the air.
He sure did, but what a different course than it was yesterday, especially where we're sitting. We're right in the channel of wind, where by the afternoon will be almost white caps, and right now the entire course is absolutely pristine and glass. Are there some boats that perform better on the flat water versus maybe hull design or something that performs better on the rough water?
Absolutely, absolutely. Some boats are really well for, or just handle rough water better, some don't, and then it's all a part of boat setup too on some level. But they know what they're going to be running on right now. They know it's going to be almost glass. They've done what they can, to your point, not being able to test this morning. So they're taking their best guess based on what they've done in years past, and we'll see how it plays out. So as a reminder, and coming on quickly this morning, this is H1 Unlimited Heat 1. This is the heat we started with yesterday afternoon and had a great race going between Dave Villwalk and Corey Peabody, when Corey Peabody unfortunately got into the skid fin wall of the U-27 Miss Apollo, and the boat went up and over. They have withdrawn from the event. They would not have been able to run in this heat anyway, Tanner. The rule clearly states if you are responsible for the stoppage of the heat, you cannot run in the rerun of said heat. And this is that heat. We finally got to it. So we're looking now at 2 minutes and 50 seconds to the start. Jamie Nielsen's put his foot in it a couple of times and cut the course a couple of times.
Yeah, he has, and you're not sure what's testing and what is just positioning, but with 3 boats, as we saw yesterday, being in the middle and trailing is not the place to be. Puts yourself in a hallway of water, and apparently, especially with the salt water, it's really dangerous to ingest the salt water into the hot turbine. So if you're on the outside, it's all about, it even makes that start, being right on the start line, right at the exact second, that much more critical this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting right now to see where Jamie Nielsen is going to go, because we know he loves to get on that inside line, but right now he's got two boats up in front of him. That would be J. Michael Kelly on the inside. You see him there on the screen. He is on the inside, and Dave Villwalk is right with him. Jamie Nielsen is going to come up behind him. Jamie cannot cut the race course here because we're going to come down to the score up, and you've got to go all the way around the top end of the race course to legally score up. And they're coming up on that 1 minute 15-second mark, at which time they have to be behind the start-finish line. So this could conceivably put Jamie Nielsen in an outside lane. Now he's sitting way behind those two boats. Could he possibly think, I might be able to leapfrog here if he were to bring a bunch of boat speed to him? Now here comes Jamie on the outside. Is he still got sights on an inside lane? He drifted way wide off the top. Still got about 9 seconds until the score up. Inside 5 seconds now, and they're all going to come to the line together. Mark, there is the 1 minute 15-second mark, and there was a perfect example, Tanner, of radio guys and spotters on the race course letting Dave Villwalk and J. Michael Kelly know exactly what Jamie Nielsen was doing.
Sure enough, you can see Jamie Nielsen go a little wide on that last corner because he was a little early to be top speed. It's from that yellow buoy coming onto the start-finish. They need about 12 seconds to get to the start-finish line. He was a little bit early. The other guy spooled up in the nick of time and made sure that he couldn't leapfrog them enough to legally cut over to the inside. So our lanes are established.
Yeah, the lanes are not yet officially established, but to Tanner's point, they are. Nothing is going to change at this point. J. Michael Kelly is going to be in lane number 1. Dave Villwalk is going to be in between boats again. He got in there yesterday and didn't like it. He was back a bit, and I think he took the best decision and just said, I'm out of here, fell back, and took a third-place finish. Look for Dave to be on the line when the clock strikes 0, and that's going to happen in about 14 seconds from right now. Kelly in 1, Villwalk in 2, Nielsen on the outside in 3. Dave's back a bit, but is his timing good? Dave may be back. We are 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark. Start looks good from here, and Villwalk is in between boats, but he was the second boat across the line. Nielsen broke the clock, but Kelly's got lane position in the inside lane. Tanner, it's a clean start, and Kelly's down there first.
Boy, somehow Kelly and Villwalk have been able to pass Jamie Nielsen just come into that first corner. It's literally 3 abreast, though. Dave Villwalk doing a great job of staying in the clean air up the middle there, but man, the boat speed that JMK has on the inside.
Yeah, we saw Dave Villwalk stick the white nose of the U-27 Apollo out in front of J. Michael Kelly as they came off the corner, but then Kelly quickly pulled it back up on him and has now got a lead up at the top end of the race course. Where is Dave? He's right on the outside of Kelly. There's Dave as he swings out to about lane number 3. It is Kelly on the inside with a bit of a lead on Dave Villwalk as they come down to put the first of 3 in the books. It is H1 Unlimited Heat 1, and it's a dandy right now. Kelly again, Tanner, with that inside lane is showing an awful lot of boat speed.
Sure enough. I mean, Dave Villwalk did qualify second, has been showing boat speed all weekend, but these guys with the glassy water, not much to risk, really flying the boats high on the straightaway. And look for Dave Villwalk to use that additional boat speed that he's shown earlier in the weekend to make a run here in the last 2 laps.
Yeah, Kelly had a good corner down there, and he was able to open up a little bit of water on Dave, and he is really flying the 8 like he likes to do. Jamie Nielsen is running a solid 3rd place right now in the U11 MS Flavor Pack, but the race is out front, and it's only about a 4, maybe 5 boat length lead for J. Michael Kelly over Dave Villwalk in the 27 MS Apollo. Kelly with a nice corner at the top end. Dave swings out a little wide, trying to keep the RPM up. Going to try this way of running down Kelly, but he's flying the boat, the U8. J. Michael Kelly, he's got almost a rooster tail now, Tanner. He's flying that U8.
That's as high as I've seen J. Michael Kelly fly the boat out of a corner all season. I mean, maybe it's the calm conditions or he's just got a lot of confidence in the boat. But by getting it out of the water on the exit, which he gets it really high in that corner, it just allows the boat to accelerate up to speed sooner.
It looks like Dave tightens it up there a little bit, but I don't think he really did. I think it's the angle from where we are. It's almost a full rooster tail. In fact, it is, and I think Dave just said, all right, the shouting's over in this one, and Dave is going to drop back, let Mike walk off with a victory here if he can complete one more time around. He's just got to do about a quarter of a lap. He is in the final turn off the top end of the race course. It's the final lap. The checkered flag is now hanging here at start-finish line. His spotters have said he is all by himself. J. Michael Kelly, the U8 Beacon Electric, flying the boat down the front straightaway, and it's another victory for Strong Racing. And the U8 JMK, boy, he just wanted to show you the bottom of the boat one more time, didn't he, Tanner?
Sure did. I mean, it's amazing with I haven't seen them run with such calm water. They really are able to precisely get that boat all the way out of the water on the exit and not necessarily worry about it walking back and forth on the tip tops of the white tops or white caps.
So Dave Billwalk in the U27 Miss Apollo comes home in second place. Gave it a good run for almost 2.5 laps and then pulled his foot and said, all right, Mike, you got me. And Jamie Nielsen comes home in third place. Interesting point here, Tanner, with what we saw yesterday and what we just saw in that heat. Our top two qualifiers, the U91, the Goodman Real Estate with Andrew Tate, and the U27 of Miss Apollo and Dave Villwalk were the top two qualifiers. Kelly's beat them both. He got the inside lane, and he was actually back a little bit when they crossed the line. I was surprised to see him hit the corner first.
Now, we'll tail as they turn in is always indicative for me of how much speed they're carrying when they first hook it into the corner. And JMK was incredibly committed turning in, especially in those first 2 laps, and absolutely right on the inside buoys. He didn't make a mistake at all and just didn't give up an inch. And even with lower boat speed that he showed in qualifying, was able to pull away from Dave Villwalk.
Now they will get the boats back into the pit area. They will get them on the trailer. The drivers, the crew chiefs, they will get the data from the boats on that heat, and they will review everything as they move forward through the day. But as you and I know, Tanner, the conditions they just ran on, I think it's 99%. They're not going to have those when we pull out the big trophy in the final heat. It's going to be a much rougher race course.
It's an interesting part of this racing. It makes it a lot like off-road racing, where you never know what course you're going to be on. Even if you know where it is and you've been on it 100 times, you never know what it's really going to be like, how fast you can go. And that affects what gearing they use, what prop they use, what angle they use on the skid fin. So it's a lot of local knowledge, but it's an interesting track because even back at the pits where it's nice and warm and no wind, there's this channel of wind that just blasts through the middle of the course that they have to set the boat up for. That is almost a guarantee once we get up close to lunchtime.
And that's because we've got shoreline all up the backstretch of this particular race course, with the exception of that channel that you're talking about. And we're looking right underneath that bridge. I don't know what they call that. I think that's Ingram Street over there, but it doesn't make any difference. The wind blows right through it, and you and I will be feeling it later on today. Here's a look at the racing here. J. Michael Kelly on that inside lane, and you see how he just made it work and was able to keep Dave on his hip. Like Dave would say, if the positions were reversed, Dave would say I was able to get a fender on him and just keep him pushed out there.
Now, we're seeing on the replay that it wasn't an easy job. In lap 2, he was already going through his own rollers. One thing without the wind, those rollers are a lot more apparent. And, man, he's flying the boat for nearly half the straightaway to the start-finish, even on the last lap when he had it won. So he's getting a great feel for that boat. And that confidence is something that makes a driver faster.
It still just scares the daylights out of me when he just hangs it up there. I've always said this comment, to me, it looks like if you were to get in front of that boat and just blow a little air on it, you could push it over. He just hangs it there. It's amazing. Now, watch J. Michael Kelly here. If they keep the camera there, or we keep seeing, he is going to get out of that boat, walk right straight across the dock, and walk into the Y41 shenanigans, and he will be out here in our 1-liter heat after the obligatory drink of water.
Yes, he's doing double duty out here. And I don't know if that's an advantage to, I mean, I already did relation to off-road racing. You know, in off-road, short course off-road racing, a lot of times if you run multiple classes, you get a feel for the changing track conditions a little bit better than the guys that aren't running multiple classes. I wonder, is that something that historically that some drivers do, is they enter multiple classes to be able to learn more about changing course conditions out here?
I don't. They do it. They definitely do it. Jeff Bernard's another one who's done it many times. Greg Hopp has done it many times. I don't know if it's so much to learn about course conditions. I think it's more they just love to race. Oh, you mean there's a boat I can go? Let's go. Let's do it. I actually interviewed Greg Hopp one time in the Tri-Cities. He was in the Grand Prix final in the Tri-Cities, and his boat was pitted quite a ways away from his boat in the final heat of the unlimited class, and the heats were back to back. He got out of the Grand Prix boat after winning the final heat. I ran with him and interviewed him as we both ran along the road to get down to the unlimited. These guys just love to race. That's what it is. And you saw Mike, he went over and had a couple drinks of water, and he's climbed into the Y41. Going to take a look at some of yesterday's highlights, I believe, and talk about maybe what happened a little bit. There's Corey Peabody. Boy, it was all smiles and fist bumps. And then heat one came, and lap 2, turn 1 was where everything went south. We may be looking at some qualifying here. Yeah, that was different stuff. There's the Grand Prix. Jeff Bernard driving the GP79. Had a great day yesterday. Greg Hopp had a good day driving the old Trapper beef jerky. Then Dave Villwalk coming out. There is the two strong boats. And here is where Corey had his issue yesterday. That is, like I say, turn 1, lap 2 of our H1 Unlimited Heat 1. And you saw the frustration there in Corey Peabody. And he wanted that National High Points Championship. It went right out the window down there in turn 1.
Yeah, it seemed to be, the issue seemed to be what it looked like on camera. He just got a bump, and by the time he got the skid fin hooked back in the water again, he got another bump that popped him out, and by that point he'd lost too much of the radius and ended up in the rooster tail of Dave Villwalk and went for a big ride.
Our Grand Prix boats put on a good show. That one right there, the GP79, a bad influence with Jeff Bernard. Man, were they strong yesterday. However, that boat right there, the GP135, John Shaw, Cool Cat Motorsports, wow, were they fast. Right there, you see the speed coming off the corner that he showed. He just blew by the field in his second heat yesterday. And coming up in our first heat of Grand Prix racing today, Cool Cat Motorsports, that GP135, as you look at John Shaw there, they're going to be on an inside lane, and Jeff Bernard is going to be on the far outside lane. So that could be a lot of fun. Then it was time to go back racing again with our H1 Unlimited Hydroplanes. Andrew Tate showing everybody that top qualifying speed was not a fluke. That boat is a quick one. It has been since the day they dropped it in the Columbia River in 2018. So that was the story from yesterday, kind of in some quick pictures. We had some good racing both at the GP level and H1 Unlimited. And what we didn't see on the screen there, or didn't see much of it, was our one leaders, which is a showdown between Jeff Bernard and J. Michael Kelly. They ran 3 times yesterday. Jeff got the best of Mike twice. He got the inside on Mike all 3 times, and Mike wasn't able to get around him until the third heat that they ran. And they're going to be at it again, and these two guys are always going at it every Saturday and Sunday somewhere in what we call Region 10 of the American Powerboat Association. You're going to find those guys racing something.
Okay.
So we're getting ready now for So 1 leaders are up, and here comes Jeff Bernard. He is away from the dock, and his 1 leader. Here comes the man fresh off a victory in H1 Unlimited, Heat 1. Not only 1 for the day, but 1 for the weekend. So, Tanner, I'm going to cut you loose. Okay. I'm going to let you get out of here. I'm going to stand up and get a good look at our 1 leaders here, but don't go too far. Keep an eye on this one. Kelly drives the black one. Bernard drives the blue and white one, and I guarantee you they are racing right now to see who can get it inside lane. So I'm going to watch it. Keep an eye on this one. It's pretty good stuff.
I'm going to head down to the pits, and if you're on the beach here and you're watching this live, you know, you can go to the YouTube H1_Unlimited, and you can watch all the replays that you hear Brad talking about. But I'm going to see you down. I'm going to head down to the pits now and watch this race.
Have fun.
Okay.
He is Tanner Faust. I'm going to step up. Let's show the boats. And it is Bernard right now on the inside, and he's got Kelly on his hip again. Let's see how it plays out. It is our first heat of racing today for 1-liter hydroplanes. Then we've got Sean Bauscher on the outside of young Katie Brown. And we are looking for Marissa Bartels. Have not seen her yet come down. Oh, I see a boat coming away from the dock way up at the top end of the race course. I'm going to assume that is Marissa. She will be the 5th boat in our 5-boat field. All right, coming up on 3 minutes to the start, and right there on the camera, this race is about a 10-minute race because it starts right on the dock as Marissa Bartels comes across start-finish line. In her boat, she is on the course, but these 2 boats coming down the front straightaway here, you don't quite see them there, the 2 rooster tails out front. There, those 2 boats right there, that's Bernard on the left and J. Michael Kelly on the right. And these guys basically are racing because if Kelly could get to the left and get inside of Bernard, it would give him a whale of an advantage in this heat. But Jeff Bernard's job right now, and for the next 2.5 minutes, is to just stay right alongside JMK and not let him get to the left and get to an inside lane, meaning Mike is going to have to beat him on the outside. Now, he was able to do that once yesterday, but Bernard's had the best of him the other 2 times. And as I say that now, Kelly has pulled out in front of Jeff, but Jeff's idea was to cut the race course. So this time Mike is all the way up at the top end of the race course. You can see way up there at the top of the screen a couple of boats cutting across the race course. The first one there is Jeff Bernard. So he's got himself now right where he wants to be with 1:40 until the start. He will come down here on an inside lane. That boat that's right with him, the orange one, is young Katie Brown. Katie Brown has got her orange boat sitting here. Now she could get right in the middle as Kelly comes flying down here now to the lower end of the race course, and Mike's going, all right, do I try and squeeze in between those 2 boats? Looking at the screen there, Kelly is the 3rd boat in that picture, and he's running in the wake right there, and he's looking now. Katie just moved to the outside, opened the door, and Kelly's going to stick his nose in lane 2. Great shot on the drone right there of J. Michael Kelly being able to squeeze in between those 2 boats. So now Katie Brown is going to be in lane 3, Kelly's going to be in 1, and Bernard is going to sit on the buoy row. And we had the perfect camera angle for everybody to see that. And as those 3 boats go up the backstretch with 42 seconds until the start, Bernard's in 1, Kelly's in 2, Katie is in 3. I think Sean Bauscher. Now, Katie is moving maybe further to the outside. I'm not sure she wants to find herself in the middle of this little argument that J. Michael Kelly and Jeff Bernard are about to have. Her radio man is her father, Kip Brown, Gold Cup champion Kip Brown, I might mention. He is telling her exactly what to do, but right now it is going to be Sean Bauscher is going to come into lane 3. Katie's going to go into 4 as we're inside 10 seconds. We are coming up on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mark, I think it's legal. It looked good from here. Marissa Bartels is going to be on the far outside. Sean Bauscher got in lane 3, but the race is going to be out front. And ladies and gentlemen, here we go again. Jeff Bernard in 1. You cannot see J. Michael Kelly, but he's right on the outside of Bernard. We're going to go 3 times around, and up the backstretch there, it looks like 1 boat. There are 2. Then in 3rd place, it is Sean Bauscher up the backstretch. It is Marissa Bartels running in 4th, and Katie Brown is back in 5th, but still close to the 2 young ladies are going to have a pretty good boat race before this one's done. But the race is out front at the top end of the race course. Jeff Bernard on the inside. Where's Kelly? Where's Mike? There he is. He is right on his hip. They could have swapped a little paint up there at the corner. Kelly on the outside, Bernard on the inside. This is 1-liter racing as good as it gets. And these 2 do it every single time they get on the water. Bernard's got him by about, that's almost exactly 1 boat length. And look how close Kelly hangs to him going through the corner. Kelly, fresh off that victory in H1 Unlimited Heat 1, is right back in the thick of the action as he comes off the bottom end of the race course here on lap number 2. And up the backstretch, still Jeff Bernard out in front, but it is no more than a boat length, maybe 2. Great look there on the screen. Kelly, as Bernard flies it. Now Kelly's less than a boat length. These 2 are really going at it. Top end of the race course. This is the 2nd of 3 times around. Looks like 1 boat up at the top end of the race course. There are 2. That's from our angle, but on the screen here, you can see Kelly on the outside, back about a boat length and a half. Look how close Kelly stays there to him. They could reach out and touch one another. So here we come down to put 2 in the book. The white flag flies. There's 1 more to go. Bernard inside, Kelly outside. Bernard's opened up a little bit on him. This time it was 1 boat length a lap ago. Now it's 3. Kelly knows if he's going to get him, he's going to have to get him now. This is the final lap. If Bernard makes so much as a tiny mistake, he knows Kelly's right there to grab it from him. 3rd place coming across is Sean Bauscher. He will come down in 3rd. And then it's Marissa Bartels. We've lost Katie at the top end of the race course, and she is in that corner up there. Radio people are going to have to let our 2 leaders know you got a boat down. Katie's trying to get hers to the infield and get out of the way of Kelly and Bernard, who are coming up behind her. And I think she has done that. I think she's clean. So it's just our 2 leaders now, still Bernard, by a couple of boat lengths, and this run down the front straightaway is going to determine it. And I think Bernard has shown that he's had the speed unless he makes a mistake or the boat gets away from him, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be Jeff Bernard going to take another victory here in our 1-liter class. Kelly still flying the shenanigans, trying to get him. He's closing, but he just didn't have enough. That was probably 2.5 boat lengths. Oh my goodness, that was kind of fun. Sean Bauscher, as I said, is running in 3rd place. He's coming off the top end of the race course right now. He will come down and pick up 3rd place as our leaders are cooling off, going up the backstretch. There's Sean Bauscher. Got the Ready To sponsor, Reliable Diamond Tool, on the side of that particular boat. Sean will come down, and our 4th place finisher will be Marissa Bartels in the Y45. She will come down and pick up a 4th place finish. A number of years ago, I used to call and be the announcer for a number of Region 10 races up in the Pacific Northwest, where we'd call all kinds of inboard categories and inboard classes, if you will, up in Region 10 of the APBA. And I fell in love with the 1-liter class, and I had a statement that I always said, and I'll say it here because it seems fairly apropos, and that was 1-liters never disappoint. And there were some events I went to where we had 12, 15 1-liters, and many of them were extremely competitive, and it was really a lot of fun. Always good racing in the 1-liter class, and this weekend so far it has been exactly that way, and it's been Jeff Bernard and J. Michael Kelly at the forefront of it. So Good action here early in the morning. Good morning, San Diego, to our fans here along the shoreline and those of you watching on the H1 Unlimited YouTube network. It's the 2025 San Diego Bayfair, powered by Samson Rope. We are glad you are with us here this morning. We've got the marine layer over us right now. It's going to burn off as it has each of the other days and probably get pretty warm this afternoon. So we're not complaining about it right now. It's beautiful water conditions in an absolutely beautiful setting here in San Diego on Mission Bay. So I take a look at my clock. It's not even yet 9:30. We've got 2 heats of racing already in the book. I doubt everybody's done with their morning coffee. I know I threw mine down to get over here because we didn't want to miss it, and I was glad we were here on time, A, to bring it to you, but also because it was some good racing, and we've got plenty more of that still to come on the H1 Unlimited Network and here for our fans along the shoreline. 2025 San Diego Bayfair, powered by Samson Rope. And I see we've got some official patrol boats on the move here, as we've got a couple of boats down in the water. Looking at the pit area there, I see John Shaw in the GP 135. That is the boat on the far right of the screen. Hopefully somebody gets J. Michael Kelly out of that Y41 and lets him go up and sit down for a minute. We've had 2 heats. He's running them both. He hasn't been off the dock yet between those 2 heats of competition. So good stuff right there. Jeff Bernard walking up the ramp, and at some point, J. Michael Kelly will follow him up there. Just getting started here on day 3 of 3 of the 2025 San Diego Bayfair, presented by Samson Rope. I'm Brad Lewis. I'm going to be joined later on in the day by Tanner Faust. He was here earlier this morning. He will be here again. He's on his way over to the pit area. And in the pit area, we will have our Brent Hall and Erica Allreed. We've got camera people over there with them as well, and they will be grabbing photos and interviews and talking with people along the way as soon as we get them all wired up and ready to go. And I was going to say the lid was down on the GP 135 and John Shaw, and then they just popped it right back open. Now we got patrol boats moving on the race course, so clearly we're not going to bring anybody out here just yet. And the understanding was this morning, if we got our first 2 heats of competition in and got them in quickly and clean, which we did. We actually started the H1 Unlimited heat a little bit early, and this was being done during the test session this morning. But now that those 2 heats are in the books, we are going to open the course for open testing, and that's why I believe you're seeing the 135 in the GP class in the water. They will come out and have the course to test. It appears from one of the screens I'm looking at here that the GP17, the Miss Renee, is also in the water right now. And I believe this is just an opportunity for these guys to come out and test. Well, apparently they can tell that they see the drone there, because you see the crew members there on the dock waving up to our drone. You can wave back. I don't know that they could see you, but you see what's going on in the pit area, just waiting, I think, for an open course. And then you're going to get a couple of our Grand Prix hydroplanes. When we go Grand Prix racing, it's going to be Grand Prix America heat number 3. Yesterday we ran heats 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, and today we are going to combine those boats in those A and B sections. We had 3 in each. We've got 6 boats. We still do have 6 boats, and we're going to combine them all into our heat 3. So that's going to be a 6-boat heat. when we run Heat 3 for our Grand Prix America coming up later on today. I'm watching the officials down here. We have a black flag still hanging on the race course. I'm assuming that's because we had patrol boats moving around, and as soon as they are in position, I think they'll cut this course loose. And we will be able to have some action here on the water for you. They got the sling there on the Y41, the black and gold boat there, the Shenanigans, the boat that J. Michael Kelly just drove to a second place finish. Second place to his nemesis, Jeff Bernard, in the 1 liter class this weekend. And what you're looking at there is Fiesta Island and the long shot of all of the RVs here on San Diego's Mission Bay. And it is 1.5 miles the length of the parking area here for the RVs, and almost dead center in the middle of the screen there, you were looking at a truck trailer combination with windows in it. That's the start finish line. That's where we are located here. I am up on top of that particular trailer. There's our view looking across, and there you see the line of, well, there's our boats in the water. You're looking down there on the left. You see the GP17. That's the blue and white boat with the lid open, and the dark blue boat more in the foreground is the GP135. So I think we're going to take a look as John Shaw fires up the GP135. He's away from the dock. I think we're going to take a look at that 1 liter heat here, and we got some highlights maybe. And I guess we're going to hold on to that replay for a moment. That's fine, because we want to show you John Shaw. Now, what this guy has, John Shaw, he had a tough day on Friday trying to get qualified. In fact, he didn't get qualified. And so they just were chasing their tails on Friday, something fierce. But they came out yesterday, and the boat ran extremely well, claimed a heat victory yesterday, and when he came out on the water, he was not shy about putting his foot in it and putting on a good show for the fans. Look for this one to be really, really fast today. And when we get to that Heat 3 with all 6 boats, the GP135 that you're looking at right there, the Cool Cat Motorsports and John Shaw, he's going to be in lane number 2. So he's got an awfully good lane position. When we get those boats out on the water, he's going to be in lane 2. Lane number 1 is going to be Austin Ekert driving the GP17, the Miss Renee, and he is also out on the race course right now. Austin Ekert is coming by start-finish line, and we got a 3rd boat out on the water. Well, there we go. That is Kevin Ekert in the GP10. So you got 3 boats out on the water as you're looking again, and still at John Shaw up the backstretch. And unlike the H1 Unlimiteds that don't need that much time to get things warmed up before they can be ready to go, these are big block automotive engines, and they've got to warm them up, make sure the oil pressure is up, and before they put their foot in them. So a warm-up lap is indeed something that is necessary. Now let's take a look at Shaw here, see if maybe he doesn't say, okay, everything's fine and ready to go, because he was really giving us some strong runs down the front straightaway yesterday. See if he does it again. And here comes John Shaw. He's got it lit up and running again. That's what he was doing yesterday. He was putting on quite a show by himself, and he coming down the front straightaway behind him is going to be Austin Ekert, but you're seeing that John Shaw still got his foot nailed in the 135 up the backstretch. So certainly a hot lap here for... Now John has pulled his foot. John goes slowly up the backstretch. Austin Ekert is running hard up the backstretch in the 17. Kevin's coming hard off the lower end of the race course as well. So you got a couple of boats moving quickly on the race course. There's the blue and white of the GP17, and now there he is. And now you're looking across the race course there at the GP10. There's Kevin Ekert there. A good aerial shot of Austin Ekert, GP17 to Miss Renee. He's going to be on that inside lane. There's Kevin Ekert, the boat they call the Freak, GP10. Should mention, I know we did a couple of times yesterday, that Austin Ekert driving that GP17, that's the blue and white one. He was our victor the last time out at the Seattle Seafair. Had a tough time. I thought he was going to win in Tri-Cities, and he almost did. That boat right there. I thought he was going to win in the Tri-Cities, but unfortunately some mechanical issues grabbed him and precluded them from doing that. But they backed it up with a win at the Seattle Seafair, and Austin right now is putting his foot in it a little bit. Maybe doing a bit of a timing run coming down here to start finish line. He's going to be in lane one. You are not going to want to be late to the first turn. And here comes Austin Ekert. They call him Awesome Austin. And as he was coming down the front straightaway, if you looked really close at the canard wing, that is the leading edge on the front of the boat, he definitely had it tipped down, trying to put as much air under that boat as he could. Wants to get it up and out of the water. Go as fast as he can. There you're getting a great look at the Miss Renee from Richards Racing. And he is slowly up the backstretch right now, and I think he'll head it back in toward the pit area. There, you're looking right straight at the nose of it there. Coming up behind him is going to be Kevin Ekert. You can see our drone there on the screen. And there's the drone shot. Nicely done, guys in the truck. They showed us the drone, then there's the shot from that drone as it follows GP17 and Awesome Austin back up toward the pit area. There you see the cranes on the right and the Ingram Street Bridge. Austin will head that way and make a hard right-hand turn and pull right straight into the dock. Kevin Ekert right behind him there. That's the other boat coming back toward the dock. Saw the crane moving there, and I think that was a crane on that left when Austin was coming in. That crane was moving. The one on the left, you see it moving now, but that is pulling one of our 1 liter boats up and out of the water. I believe that's Marissa Bartel's Y45 being pulled out of the water there. So a couple of Ekerts there coming back. That's the blue and white one of Austin. The GP10 is the other one. That's Kevin Ekert. So lots of activity here on San Diego's Mission Bay. It is the 2025 San Diego Bayfair, powered by Samson Rope. Samson, the strongest name in rope. I was looking to see there if we had another boat in the water. I thought maybe we did, although that may have been John Shaw that had already returned back to the dock. I was just keeping an eye on things there. We had a busy day yesterday. We've started out with a busy one today. We've already had 2 heats of racing. We had a great unlimited heat. J. Michael Kelly walking off with a victory. Again, we need to remind all of our fans that our results on the water are unofficial until such time as we get information from the tech truck, and we'll find out if things are official. And I am told now that our Heat 1, which was our first heat for H1 Unlimited, it is indeed official as it was on the water. Everybody has cleared the tech truck. So first place in that one went to the U8 Beacon Electric, J. Michael Kelly. He picks up 400 points. Second place, Dave Vilwalk in the U27 of Miss Apollo, and third place to the U11. That is the Miss Flavor Pack and Jamie Nielsen. So first, second, and third, that is legal. It's in the books. And we can mark that one down, which means shortly I'm going to go down and have a conversation with our stat man, because he's going to have the magic number of how many points Andrew Tate's going to require until such time. And I believe it's 837. He's reading my lips, and apparently I said that correctly. So the magic number is 837. Now, what that means for you baseball fans out there, I know you all got this figured out because you all know about magic numbers. So 837 points is the amount of points that Andrew Tate needs to get to win the National High Points Champion, or a combination of points that are not achieved by the other boats. So J. Michael Kelly went out. J. Michael Kelly is in second place right now in the U8. He went out in his first heat this morning and got 400 points. That was the maximum amount of points he could have gotten. Had he finished second and picked up only 300 points, then Andrew Tate's magic number would have dropped 100 points, because Mike would have left 100 on the table. Bottom line, things are looking real good for Andrew Tate. With 3 more heats to go, he controls his own destiny, if you will. He's in a good position, but there's a couple of things they want to accomplish. Number one, they would like to get that National High Points Championship again, and they would like to get it, and then they would like to forget about that and stop thinking about it, and then concentrate on winning the Bill Muncey Cup here on San Diego's Mission Bay. Looking up and down pit row, down at the pit area there, the only boat I see in the water is the GP-17, and as I say that, it appears as though it's coming out of the water. That was Austin Ekert. He just ran. So nobody is in the water at this point in time. We're going to step away for just a moment here. We will be back as soon as we get some more activity on the water. But it's the 2025 San Diego Bayfair, powered by Samson Rope. Samson, the strongest name in rope. This is Brad Lewis. Don't go too far away. As soon as we've got action on the water, we will be back. So stay with us. We'll step away for a few minutes.